Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Hi, Joanne.
Hi, Dr. Tronner. So nice to see you.
Oh, I love your back.
Nice to see everybody, but this is your first time on here as not a speaker. And that's the first time we've seen Tim on board with Karen. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Glenn.
Hi, Glenn. Hi, Marilyn.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Linda.
Hey, Todd. Hi,
Kathy.
Rebecca.
Glenn, how are you?
Hope I'm not
Good, how are
missing
you?
anybody. Bea.
Wonderful.
Yes. Yeah, as you can see, I got my trophy here from the neuroscience conference.
It looks so good, Jeff.
Yep.
Hold it up, Jeff, so we can see it. I'll pin it for everyone to see. We presented this to Jeff at the Global Neuroscience Conference.
We could do something different today. If everyone put their face on their camera, we could take a screenshot now of everybody in case sometimes people have to leave early.
Right.
So if everyone puts their screen on now, we'll do our what we normally do at the end. And Jeff's got his award in there that he just got at the Neuroscience Conference. Kathy, can you put your face on? Bea, we're going to do a shot of everybody right now.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, Alexandra. Everybody? Yeah, I see.
I think
Wait, is Alexandra on here?
Not yet.
Oh, I thought I saw her a minute ago. Okay.
I know John
Kathy.
too. I love it. We'll take one now and then we'll take one at the end too, so we can capture
Who's
everything.
up in the top right? There's John.
There he is.
Hi, John.
Hi, John. Okay, I'll do a countdown. Let's we could say Autism Tree on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Autism Tree.
Autism Tree.
Hi, Otto. I don't know why I don't see you on my screen, but I feel like I heard you.
Oh no, he's not here yet either.
Okay, I felt like I heard him.
Some people join in, a few minutes in. We are still pretty early. But happy 100th Lunch and Learn. I think I can start doing the intro. Oh, here's Alex. She's coming in.
Maybe let's do one more then. Alex is our board member. For anyone who doesn't know, she's been on our board.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Alexandra. Okay.
Oh, there's Otto too.
Good. I thought
Hi,
I heard
everybody.
his...
Sorry. Hi, how are you?
Good. We're doing our photo now. So if someone has to leave before the end, we get everybody in the picture of the Lunch and Learn. We just did one, but we'll do it again so you can be in it.
Okay.
And Otto too. Hi, Otto. I thought I heard you earlier. Hi, Shelly. Bea, are you able to show your face? And Alexandra, this will be the last one and then we'll get started. This is our 100th one. We got to get it right, this photo. Hi, Alex.
Yay. Okay.
Our 100th Lunch and Learn. Here we go.
Big smiles, everyone.
Oh, wait. There we go. Hi.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Love it. That was perfect.
All right. We did it. Thank you. Okay. We'll get started.
All right. Thanks to everyone. A few Zoom rules for those of you who are new or haven't joined in a while. It's actually been a month since we had our last Lunch and Learn. We're so happy to be back. We had our Global Neuroscience Conference that happened in early November. So a couple Zoom rules. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking. We recommend speaker view for presentation. Video sharing is optional, though we love to see all your smiling faces. And please type all questions and comments into the chat during the guest speaker that we have today, very special guest speaker. We welcome any feedback, any questions that you all have. I will help moderate the chat at the Q&A at the end of this Lunch and Learn. So a quick update from Autism Tree. We now have over 717,000 people reached across all of our social media channels. We're on every platform and we update every single day. We have 99 of these Lunch and Learns uploaded to our YouTube channel and our Lunch and Learn playlist. Today is our 100th Lunch and Learn. We're so excited. It's a huge milestone for us. We never imagined that we would get to this point, that this was, something that we started during the pandemic, and we started doing it every single week. And since then, there's such a wealth of resources that are available on our YouTube channel. Since January of this year, we've already coordinated and facilitated over 186 events. We have 30 coming up between now and the end of the year that are for our families. As always, we provide all of our programs, our 19 programs, at no charge to all of our families. So we are on track to do over 200 events again this year, which is so wonderful. Including a few events that are coming up. We have Giving Tuesday, which is November 29th. We're going to do a week of giving as well, which will last until Friday, December 2nd. And then we have our holiday events for our families, our Winter Wonderland, which we're so excited to bring back again this year at USD. We will have that on Saturday, December 3rd, and then also our DPR Santa photo shoot we're bringing back as well. We just got word from DPR that we're going to have it at their main offices on December 15th. So keep an eye out for those on our website if you want to sign up. I'm so excited to see our families again this holiday season. We have 483 videos on our YouTube channel and over 300 subscribers, and I'm so happy every single time I see a subscriber. So please subscribe today. Every single one matters so much to me. It makes me so happy, brings me joy. We've posted 423 of those videos since March 12th, 2020. And it's been such an amazing journey. Thank you so much to everyone who's ever submitted a video, all of our volunteers, our program managers. It's been so lovely to see the amazing ECEC, our Embrace, Connect, Empower, and Create, our 4 core pillars and our 4 core values being shown through every single video that we have on our YouTube channel. And so without further ado, I'll pass it off to Dana, who is our co-founder and executive director, and she will be introducing Todd Hoff.
Thank you, Rebecca. It's so nice to be here with everyone and just kind of to take a moment and breathe. I mean, this is a really big milestone, and so many of you who are on here have been such a key part of building this whole Lunch and Learn platform. We never, like as Rebecca said, imagined that we'd get to 100, but now that we have, it's become really a special part of our community, of a way for people to come on and share something that they feel is important to our community. And I can tell you with complete sincerity, and I'm under exaggerating, that Rebecca and I have sincerely loved and valued every single one of the Lunch and Learns we've done. We not only value them, we use them as a resource all the time when we're working with families, when we're working with community partners, when we're talking about Autism Tree. We're constantly going back and texting, hey, here's a Lunch and Learn you can look at. And then if you want to meet Dr. Moultrie, we'll get you to him, or Dr. Troner, or I mean, any number of things, but I can't over exaggerate what an incredible resource they've become to us. I really want to thank everyone who has given us a lot of love and prayers and encouragement for our second conference that was virtual and our first conference ever that was a hybrid. I feel extraordinarily proud of this milestone. Also, is that there's not a lot of organizations in the world who have accomplished doing a hybrid neuroscience conference. That said, our first ever virtual conference, we've had over 100,000 views. And I loved it when Todd, who's our Hoff, our chairman, who's going to be our speaker today, said to me, oh, wow, you had more people watch the conference last year than Garth Brooks had when he played at Petco, which is actually 10,000 more than Elton John even just had, which it looked like Elton John's was the record-breaking crowd, and I wasn't there, but Alex, I saw you were, and I thought, that looks like it was probably the biggest concert ever, and I Googled it, and it was still actually Garth Brooks by 10,000. It might just be the way they set it up, the way they sold it, I don't know, but it was amazing because we were actually at that Garth Brooks concert in the rain, and to think that on our virtual conference, we have had over 100,000 views from last year. So that's more than we've ever sold out Petco Park of viewing our neuroscience conference last year. Now let's talk about this year. Right now, the conference, we recorded it and it's only up on our YouTube channel at Autism Tree. Well, our channel is not as robust as UCTV, which is where we have the 100,000 views and they have millions of users. And that is going to be happening. If you were at the conference or you saw, we had UCTV there recording, which costs us a lot of money, but we see the value in it because we have a much more global viewership. And right now on our channel, we have almost 2,000 views of that conference, which is just fully incredible. I mean, going back to when we did the conference and did not record it and did it all in person, we had around 400, give or take, attendees at the conference. So I really want to thank everyone for getting behind, this conference. What always was the reason that I wanted to do this neuroscience conference is to have a heart connection between our community, our Autism Tree children and families, and these incredibly renowned global researchers right here in San Diego on what they're referring to now in La Jolla as Miracle Coast. And I want to thank Dr. Trauner for being here today. She's been a speaker before. She was a speaker at our conference. She actually diagnosed my son, Garrett, 20 years ago. And her and I used to work together way back in the day when I sold a seizure drug. So I just want to give a shout out to you, Dr. Trauner. It's really nice to have you on here. And I'm doing a long intro, but it's because I'm really feeling a lot of gratitude and I'm thankful. Next week is Thanksgiving, and I want to say I'm thankful for each of you that are here right now. And I was sharing on our pre-call with Todd and Rebecca that I didn't know if I wanted to share something personal, but I'm going to only in that I hope it helps you in some way. I feel that during this time of year, we're all just pulled, our energy is pulled, and maybe all the time, but certainly even more going into the holiday season. You don't even maybe have time to feel your own energy source. Your energy is being pulled so many different ways. When do you actually have time to actually tap into your energy source? And that's something I'm just starting to do. And I'm really wanting to just, I feel like I have been trying to do it, but I've got to work harder on it, because what that means is that I want my energy to go to where what feels right. I'm talking about my personal energy. I want to put my personal energy into what feels right. And I'm just sharing it with you. I know it's a really big challenge, and I'm challenging myself for it. And I'm making a vow to go with the flow, because I personally have a hard time doing that a lot. And really at Autism Tree, everyone knows that we lead with love. That is how we do it every day, all day. All of us here together know that. But what's different for me that I'm really challenging myself to see as sort of like, a little guiding sign is that love is my guide. That's different than me leading with love. That means my guide. Who is my guide inside me? And I get that source from God. I know that. But it's this recognition that where I'm putting my energy, where I'm putting my time, that love is guiding me, and that I'm putting my energy into what feels right. And so I feel really strongly about it, and I really wanted to share it with you. And we're going into a huge year-end campaign right now that is just honestly critical for us to go into next year. And it always is, but it's more critical now than ever. And I feel like, there's no accidents why I'm feeling this way. And I'm trying to absorb it and share it. With that, I just want to say, I'm very, very thankful for this moment. I'm very present of bringing on Todd Hoff, who we co-founded Autism Tree 20 years ago when our son Garrett was diagnosed. And the biggest thing I want to thank Todd for is these lunch and learns was his idea. This was his brainchild when I was getting inundated with phone calls from families, pre-schools closing, just really beyond stress that we've ever heard from parents, because the schools were closing. They didn't know how they were going to work their jobs. They had to quit their jobs. You know, we had a single dad that was a new partner in a law firm. He couldn't be in that law firm anymore. He had to attend to his kids at home. It was just nonstop. And Todd came up with this idea as like a way to connect. And one of the first things we saw that was really exciting is we started to see East Coast friends every week. Hi, Jeff. And Jeff is another main reason that we get to connect every week, and he's been helping us build this platform. Rebecca did a beautiful slide as my intro to Todd today, and I really love this slide because on the far right, I think Garrett's 8 years old and he's at a Wright family picnic, and I'm not even quite sure if he's singing the national anthem, I think. And then next to that, you'll see at the bottom one is when he did a lunch and learn. His hair is all back now. He just in the summer a lot of times shaves his head, so it doesn't even look like him. And that was when he was really working hard on that legislation that passed in San Diego this year. The one above it is Todd with all of our board. I think that's just a great picture. I'm pretty sure everyone but Phil's in that photo. And then the next one, there's Phil on the end next to Todd, and that's our board as well with Dr. Levy in the mix on the top far right. And that was from our program managers meeting. And below that is Todd with our Bay Area team. They are a group of high schoolers that are trying to bring Autism Tree back to in-person events in the Bay Area. And Farah is in the middle, and her family used to do our golf tournament for 10 years. And her aunt is on our board, which is Laura Odom, who has twin girls with autism. She has triplets, but her girls have autism. So you just see in this photo that Todd has literally been giving his love to this foundation for 20 years in every way you can imagine. And I look at that far left bottom corner and I think, I love that photo because it just shows how much he likes to be out there, really giving his appreciation and gratitude and attention and having that connection with the next generation of teenagers and kids that want to help and that know someone or have a family member with autism. And it really is critical that right now we have over 200 teenagers in our foundation that we're trying to help make sure we open every door for. And the bar is really high. We want to keep it that way. And Otto's on here today, and Otto is taking us places we've never been and we've always wanted to go. And so it's just a really exciting time for everyone to realize we have a generation of kids we've been serving, and now the next generation is double the size of intakes. And that's something I don't know if you realize, but we have done double the amount of new families at mid-year this year that we did all of last year. And it's an incredible effort to take on a new family. It's a lot of work. And we're probably almost, Rebecca, what number are we at this year of new families?
Right now we're at 495 new families who have come into the fold of Autism Tree since the beginning.
And how many did we do last year?
Last year, from January to December, we did 260. So we are double.
Yeah, it's incredible. So I really want to thank our team, and I want to thank Todd Hoff for doing the lunch and learn and for it being his brainchild idea, and pass it over to him. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, thank you for this opportunity. I made a mistake. I told Dana I would do the 100th lunch and learn, thinking it would never happen this quickly. I should have said the 1000th lunch and learn. But I couldn't be more proud of what Dana and Rebecca have achieved. So today I thought about what I wanted to share, and the theme is really a love story. You know, ATPF has been humbling, it's been scary, but it's been real when you look at where it started from. You know, it goes back to careful what ammunition you give Dana, she'll take off and run with it. And it literally was a dinner. We were having a bottle of wine, and it just the frustration of what was occurring in our community and raising money and getting, you know, people like Dr. Troner funded so they can do research that makes a difference. And I had formed a nonprofit organization a year prior for a friend of mine and was on the board as the CFO. And I, threw out there, well, you could create our own foundation, and that way you have control and you can make sure that the funds stay here locally and get used more purposefully, as long as we stay within a research mindset. I was comfortable with that. So we went ahead and we did that, and honestly, it wasn't completely thought out, because it truly was a love story of our anger with our diagnosis with our son Garrett, in transferring that anger into an action that could be positive, that would heal us but also help other people. And that's the love story, right? The things you do for your children, coming together as a husband and wife, instead of letting the change of our dreams tear us apart. We actually came closer together. And I can tell you, Dana and I just celebrated our 25th year of marriage, and couldn't be more in love than I am the day that I met her. So then it transforms into something that occurred during that time period, right? We had to be pretty transparent with our family, with our friends, with our community, with our school about Garrett. And I hadn't really thought that all the way through, right? Most families, if you kind of look back at disabilities, they kind of shed and hide these children sometimes in families. And I'd seen that in my own family, and I'd seen it in close personal family friends, and didn't really know what the consequence was to be that transparent out in the community. And I can tell you there were some really hard, tears and tough times, but they made us, and when I say us, I'm talking about Dana, Garrett, and I, better. It humbled us. It reaffirmed the work that needed to be done. But being transparent and honest clearly was an easier track than trying to create some facade that wasn't true. So from that, it kind of shifts me to how proud I am of Dana and Garrett, because truly they're out there more than I am. I'm a support to get them to there. But you look at your children and their development. Most kids don't want to go into the company business, and Garrett's just the opposite. He's a leader. He's done so much for ATPF. He thrives, and when Dana and I see that, just re-inspires us to put our dedication and time, back into ATPF. And I again couldn't be more proud. You look at Dana, who had a very successful career, just up and quit her job, to run ATPF. And that really kind of spins me to the next topic, which is I'm a businessman. I run hospitals, done that all my career, but the fundamentals of ATPF, I actually steal them and use them at the hospital. Built on transparency, built on engagement, built on the words, kind words, right? This love philosophy of an organization, and what that can do. Dana and Rebecca and the volunteers and the board have been able to sustain that for 20 years. The consistency is phenomenal. The outcomes are unbelievable. The Neuro Conference is a subset of data that truly shows you the impact. And now the impact is not local, it's not national, it's global now, right? Who would have thought? And I think that the pandemic pivot is a key story in what's transpired and how we got to lunch and learns, right? If you look at ATPF now and you were to kind of outline what it does, clearly it's a media channel as well now. When you look at the content that we have that will never be erased, we'll be able to build, on top of that. I just think that's amazing, and the results are unbelievably positive. The other thing that I think ATPF has done that's spectacular is capturing volunteers, getting them to really be more than volunteers. They are they're soldiers of ATPF. They're so committed. The family is everything, and the personal support that they've given Dana and I and Garrett is it's priceless. It allows us to do what we want to do, but we absolutely do not exist without our volunteers in the community supporting us. The next thing I wanted to flip to was to thank the volunteers, because when I talk about that being scared and being humbled, the volunteers have always stepped up and closed that gap to reassuring us that the foundation can continue. So it's amazing. I mean that heartfelt, and I see that as our blessing. I want to come back to the Neuro Conference for a second. It's interesting, Dana. With the work that was done with Eric and the board this year to reaffirm our commitment to what we're doing, but to get our purpose more defined. And it really got back to something that Dana's always done, and that's kind of been the one family at a time. You see that in the translation of the Neuro Conference, even though it's so large. The subset of all of the presentations as they web together, there's something for everybody in these conferences, be it a clinician, a researcher, a fundraiser, or a family, or even an autistic person themselves. And I think that's spectacular. I couldn't be more proud of that. The last thing I wanted to end on is miracles, right? People say, miracles happen. There are so many miracles that have happened in ATPF that have brought tears to my eyes. I literally almost could have done my lunch and learn just talking about that, where the programs have inspired these children on the spectrum to do amazing things that we didn't think they could do, be that going from nonverbal to verbal, to their showing more empathy and love, because we were able to spend time or through the programs activate something that hadn't been activated before. It's interesting when I look at all of that I've learned about neurodiversity, it works in the typical neuro class, i.e. my employees that I work with, focusing on their strengths, their interests, not perseverating on their gaps, but trying to support them with their gaps in creative ways. So again, they are able to flourish at the highest level. And I think at the end of the day, that's what ATPF is all about. That one family, that one child, being able to optimize through resources so they can perform and have the best quality of life they can. So that's my story. I could go on for days, but it is selfish because it's a love story of me and my wife, Dana, and having a child that has blessed us beyond anything we ever could have imagined. I can tell you as a man, when you have a baby boy, a lot of things run through your head. You automatically fantasize and, he's going to be a better version of you. And then you get this diagnosis and you see these behaviors and you all that kind of goes out the window. And I'm fortunate enough to sit here. If you're humble enough and see the blessing, I got 100 times more through Garrett and where Garrett is at this point of his life than I ever fantasized on the day Dana told me we were going to have a baby boy. I thought I lost all my dreams. Not at all. I was so myopic in my thinking. I was naive. I was young, still learning what it meant to love as a father. And my blessing having Dana and Garrett in my life is just priceless. So with that, Rebecca, any questions?
Absolutely. I have a few, and then I welcome anyone if you want to unmute yourself or raise your hand or type in the chat. I can read your question as well. But first, what do you, in your own words, what you touched a little bit on this through your whole story, which I love the thread of everything. What makes Autism Tree different from other autism organizations in San Diego and beyond, that in your own words?
Great question. There's actually two things. I talked about the culture that it's built around getting volunteers to capture the mission and feel valued, the purposeful work, right? I come, I get appreciated for what I do. And I think a lot of organizations fail in that, right? They ask you to do something, but they forget, wow, this person did this for free. They spent their time. And I do think genuinely people are highly appreciated in ATPF, and that's part of the secret sauce. There's one thing I forgot to talk about, and it's you, Rebecca. It's Lisa. It's Lupe. It's Caitlin. And we were blessed by my mom. My mom is our CFO. She worked her whole life in the professional life, and she helped mold part of the secret sauce. And what I've been able to see from this is Dana is an unbelievably demanding CEO. I think we all can agree to that. But she does it from the right perspective. But that drive has polished all of us. And I saw it with Lisa. I mean, Lisa was doing some routine work, covering a little sitting here, and she was the jack of all trades prior to coming on board to ATPF. And watching Lisa grow as a professional was really exciting. And even when she, left, right, and she's still a powerful force within our community and still watches over us. But I couldn't be more proud to watch her development. Yours is similar. I think you're exquisite at what you do. You do it differently than Lisa, but it doesn't diminish the exquisite. I think you're unbelievable on TV, media, and it's been personally super exciting to see you get to this point of your career, because you're unbelievably young, but you've learned a lot through COVID and working with Dana. So our ability as a really small team to be able to do monstrous work. I mean, you look at our numbers, our graphics, our reputation, and you would think we had 30, 40 people working for us. It's really a compliment to being laser focused on our resources and optimizing a value chain back to our constituents. Long answer.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. And I agree, it's our people. It's our people that make up Autism Tree. Every single one of you on this Zoom call today, makes it easy to do my job, because I know that we're doing it as a community. It's a community effort. And I love Joanne Jeff says, proud to be part of this team. Joanne says, here, the entire team is amazing. Thank you so much. Next question. What has been your biggest blessing with Autism Tree these past 20 years? Do you have a specific memory that stands out to you, or a milestone?
Again, this is a very selfish answer. It's my son, Garrett. I mean, Garrett and I have a very unique relationship, and Dana has done a masterful job webbing two oddballs together, because if you ask us what we want to do, we're going to pick totally different things. And she's forced us to come together to where I love all the things she now loves. So we've grown, so close together. It's priceless. And you could only hope to have a relationship with your children, now, an adult child, right? That you miss them. You want to do all the things that he wants to do. You want to see him be successful. We have, he's so damn smart, unbelievably sophisticated conversations where I have to leave, go look up words, come back, and try to help him along. But I think it's that, right? You get to this blessing of your life, and it's been how Dana has helped manage Garrett and I to this point. But when then I put that in content and take the selflessness away, oh my God, it's these miracle stories, and it's so frequent. Like I'll just tell you the most current one. We're here in Las Vegas, and we hook up with the coach at the local high school, which literally is a couple blocks away from where Dana and I live. We go hang out with his football team, and oh my God, he's like a evangelist for ATPF. And it all started back at UCSD through the football program, where this young man has grown and developed. And now, right, that's the power of, right, one can make it 100. And now he's doing the ATPF work in a very diverse, complex school, owning 300 neurodiverse kids and integrating into, the modern high school events like a football game. You see it, and you're humbled by it. But who started that, right? It goes back to Sandy and John and their commitment and all the time that they volunteered to build the football program. And now that football program is international. We've got guys playing football in Japan. It's humbling.
Mhm. Absolutely. What do you feel is the biggest, actually, I'm going to skip that one. What goals or vision do you have for Autism Tree to accomplish within the next 20 years?
That we get a big donor that just believes in us and says here, because raising money, $20 at a time is super hard and stressful. That would be my wish list, but it may never happen. It's not going to stop us from doing what we're doing.
So true. What advice would you give to a new parent starting their journey with a child with autism?
What was the first part?
What advice would you give
Oh.
to a new parent?
Yeah, I think the first part is you got to listen to them, right? You got to let them get it out, because there's so much going through their mind. And again, I think it goes back to my story where you have all these fantasies of what it's going to be like, and all of a sudden, it's like, uh-oh, something's wrong. All of that's not going to happen. You got to come up with a different play. And it's to get them in tune with their child, to actually not lose those fantasies and dreams, but to incubate new ones with your children. And it's really by listening, observing them, and focusing on what they enjoy doing, and becoming integrated with what they enjoy doing. Because what you see, you end up start enjoying those things as well. And then the growth takes off from there.
Yeah. I love it. And Otto Lana, thanks, Otto. He said, this is a great discussion. Thanks for inviting me. I love it. I will open it up to anyone else who wants to. Alex, you said one.
Hi, I want to say something, Todd. Thank you so much for sharing your love story. I had never actually heard like the very, very beginning. Thank you for being so open and honest and so vulnerable. I mean, your story is so inspiring to me. It is an honor to be a board member, and I'm just really humble always by hearing your story again. You guys always give me a different perspective of everything, and it's so beautiful to hear it. I really look forward to continue the work ahead, and hopefully we can get that donor at some point. I'm really looking forward to volunteering more now that my boys are a little bit older. And from all the autism community, thank you so much to all of you who have been a part of this from 20 years to now. It's something to really be so proud of. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to give a shout out. We have Roger Bingham is on here, our moderator for
Uh-oh.
conference. Hi, Roger.
Hello, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks for joining today.
Oh no, it's been so long since I've seen Todd. I thought I had to at least see him virtually. How are you?
Roger.
That was a wonderful, wonderful conversation and very moving. And it fits in nicely with what I was trying to say at the beginning of the last meeting when we did it, about this whole thing being having such a huge family feeling to it. Actually, obviously because it begins with the family, but that primary dynamic of connect rather than confront is so at odds with what's going on in the world right now. But it makes it such a blessed place to be. So thanks to you and Dana and Rebecca and all the rest. It's been great fun. One other comment that I will make, which is that we took the terrific trio, the Alison and Liz Torres and Leanne Chukosky, to the IEEE brain meeting, which followed a few days later. And the response there was amazing. Very interested people, because they spoke about autism. And I think that it's important to remember as well, during this period that you've been doing all this, how much more you can find scientific papers and scientific researchers working on this whole area. So I think there's just been a wonderful dynamic, and you guys have been certainly a driving part of it. It's lovely to see it working now on a global network as well.
Roger, thank you. You make the Neural Conference world class. You as a moderator, I just don't think there's anybody better in the country to do what you've done. So thank you for taking us to the next level.
Oh, blush.
Otto just typed in the chat. We think Autism Tree. We need Autism Tree signature scarves. What do you think, Roger?
To do what?
To make signature scarves.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or scarf. Oh yeah, scarf. I was actually thinking of making some T-shirts the other day for the Science Network and for the collaboratory here at UCSD. And I was thinking back, as you know, I've spoken to a couple of you about what was happening in the 17th century, around about 1600. For about 400 years, we've known a lot of this stuff. This is when in 1619 is when Descartes had his dreams, and all sorts of things happened. 400 years we've been doing all this stuff, and it's just taken all this time to get to the same place. And so I think we need to speed things up. And one of the great things that happened way back then was there's a man called Samuel Hartlib who set up an organization of people to informing people about science. And then the Royal Society started in 1660. And I'm nearly there. Hartlib's people that he went sending around and trying to impart a scientific worldview, he called them intelligencers. And I said to the IEEE meeting last week, that I think we need more intelligencers out there instead of just influencers, more intelligencers. And this organization can certainly supply those kind of people. Sorry for the sidetrack.
No, I love it.
Fascinating.
We count on you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. You can always count on Roger. I love hearing your stories and your perspective every time. And you're right. I love that. Intelligencers. I think Otto says, I'm your merch guy, Roger.
Right. So I want to make some for the collaboratory. How did I get onto that? Oh, yes, because I wanted to make a t-shirt. You started talking about scarves and I went flying off into the distance. I'm sorry there.
Figure something out. I love it. I'm so glad you joined today. And I also want to open it up to any parent who wants to say anything. We have a lot of parents who have been a part of Autism Tree on here. Joanne, Arlinda, who's fairly new, and Tamar. Oh, yay, Tamar. Nice to see you. If you have anything you want to say to Todd or about Autism Tree, I completely welcome it. Oh, Jeff, go ahead.
Todd, I just want to say, you and Dana have done a really good job in running Autism Tree and leading through it in the 20 years that it's been in existence. I've been a part of the Autism Tree community for this will be my upcoming 4th year with you guys, and I'm looking forward to more activities and more adventures as things evolve over the next 20 years. So
Jeff, thank you so much. I wish we had connected earlier. You bring a lot to the table, but the last 4 years have been fantastic. And thank you for signing on for another 20. We need that.
He brings a lot to LinkedIn as well. I mean, great posts on there. So that's interesting too.
Yeah, definitely follow Jeff on his socials. Marilee, I would love for you to say something to Todd, because you've been a part of Autism Tree family for a long time.
Well, I'm just going to cry. I've been crying almost this whole time because it's such a moving story. And I feel so honored that I was there at the very beginning when lots of these things were happening. And what a beautiful story it is. And to hear you tell your love story, that's so precious, Todd. So beautiful. Just warms my heart. And I just feel that that's the thing that's lasted for 20 years is this love. You can feel it in everything that happens at Autism Tree, whether it's the conference or the football or just with us here now. That love is very pervasive throughout this organization, and that pulls us together and keeps volunteers here a long time doing a lot more, or board members, because the love, the passion, and the caring is just so much a part of who you are. And it's just been such an honor to know you and appreciate you. And I love you so much.
Marilee, ditto. Now you just reminded me, it's all your husband's fault. I got to tell a short little story here. Marilee's husband, Howard, and I got our MBAs together. Howard was the smartest kid in the class. He went off to become a professor, and he was Dana's professor. And that's actually how Dana and I met. It was through Howard. Howard never told me what his incredible wife did. We somehow just never connected. And then when we finally did meet Marilee, she ends up being an expert in autism. And it was almost hysterical. But the love story actually is Howard's fault. And wow, it's, yeah, crazy.
I love
Give
it.
Howard my best.
Yeah, sending love to both you, Marilee and Howard. Thank you
I
for
think Dr. Trotter has something she wants to say to you, honey.
Yes, in the chat, she said, Todd, you reminded me of our conversation many years ago about your truck. What changes over the past 20 years? Love to you and Dana and Garrett.
Oh, I want to hear Dr. Trotter's voice.
Not much to say. I just remember that conversation, Todd. It was a red truck, right?
I've had a lot of trucks.
Oh, okay.
I love it. Tamar, you have your hand up. Do you have a question?
Honey, why don't you tell the story Dr. Trotter is talking about?
So if I remember right, I had this truck that I bought, and I'd souped it up, and it was so loud. I'd always had these fantasies, right? I'm gonna build this truck, and I'm gonna give this truck to my son. It'll be the first car that he drives. The problem was it was so loud, and the auditory. Garrett didn't want to drive in the truck, so it was very conflicting, right? I had built something that didn't fit, the current state. And so, I sold it, moved on, and you adjust. But again, that was a great physical example of something that I was passionate about, that I wanted to bestow upon my son, but it just wasn't the right fit. And you got to be humble and make changes and move on.
Yeah. I love that story. That's wonderful. Tamar, go ahead.
Oh, okay. It's nice to be here. I'm so grateful. And Todd, thank you so much. I didn't know the whole story, so I loved hearing your story. And it really, when the last part, when you said, when you talked about getting the diagnosis, I felt very similar. My daughter was 10. She's 16 now. So when I got the diagnosis, at first it just made sense. Like, oh, I knew it. I knew something. And I guess in my mind, I was like, I knew something was wrong. And then later on, as time went on, I'm like, this was a blessing. Nothing was wrong. Absolutely was nothing was wrong. Sienna has inspired so many. Some people in our life are not aware. Some people are aware. I just try to be more sensitive to how she feels because she doesn't like the label, the diagnosis. And so I try to be sensitive and not talk about if she feels uncomfortable. But to me, it's such a blessing. And since then, I have made the connection that my father, who is in his early 80s, that he has, we never got a diagnosis, but it makes sense that he would be on the spectrum as well. And incredible, like the one thing that I could say about my dad and my daughter, they have such a good heart. They're very noble, very honest, and you don't see that kind of honesty in most people. And so something I really admire about my daughter, no matter how much sometimes it hurts when she says things, but she's so honest. And I love that about her. And I think she's just a beautiful, beautiful person. But I just want to say thank you for creating this foundation to both of you, Todd and Dana and Rebecca, for everything that you've done, because this is the only Autism Foundation organization that I've been a part of, because since day one, you have all welcomed me and my family, and I really just appreciate everything you've done for us. So just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Everything you said
Tamar.
totally resonates with me. And part of it is, right, us seeing our children differently, and our family. We see that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I'm a deviation different than Garrett, but I could easily have been on the spectrum myself. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Tamar, I want to give you a shout. When you were talking, I was just having this memory, and I hope it's correct, but we were at the mini golf at the golf tournament that we did, right? You came out.
Yes.
It's kind of a blur because we've been doing so much, but I wanted everyone to know that this is why we are always why do we do 200 events? People don't understand. It's for the social communication, the connection. We're going to start changing it up on our social media, where when we show one of our events, we have a quote about the importance, obviously, of social communication, of connection, of how to build lasting relationships. And I just wanted you to know, Tamara, that when you were talking, I was remembering connecting with you and your daughter and her friend, I think.
Yes, that's our friend, our Japanese foreign exchange student. That's with us.
We put tons of albums up, so I know I was taking photos. And I just told Phil Sensical, who's a board member's wife, Kirsten, I had such a really wonderful time being out there in the mini golf and really connecting with you and meeting your daughter and just the whole experience. And it revalidates for me the why. Why do we do so many things every year? There were so many families out there, and many of them had never played mini golf with their child with autism.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
just want you to know, I fully remember having that time with you and your daughter. And even if it wasn't, super long, I remembered it. And I loved seeing everyone out there. And I just wanted to say thank you for being a part of Autism Tree.
Thank you. It means so much to us that what you provide, and it's a variety, right? Because our children are growing, so maybe they started off as very small. Now my daughter's a teenager, and her needs are, her interests are changing. So I really appreciate everything that you do for our children. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's something that's really important for everyone to know is we take it very seriously, and Otto's on here, he knows that all of our teenagers, their futures matter to us, their activities, their opportunities matter. And anytime a door opens that we feel is full of light, we go with our community. That's the number one requirement. We have to know that there's love there and light. And then if it's an opportunity, and that, you look at all the things we do all year long, and we're so grateful. But I want you to know that teenagers opening those doors, and I mean jobs, and I mean college, I mean, that is we know early intervention is critical. And that's why we've had this shift where we're really trying to do navigating neurodiversity and really trying to make sure the bar is high for all the teenagers to have the most opportunities they can, like Todd already was saying, just to have that really fulfilling, enjoy, a joyful life, which Otto has been crushing it, who's on here. I have to keep saying a shout out to you, Otto, with what you've been doing and opening the doors and all of it. But thank you, Tamara, for sharing that.
Thank you. And it was nice meeting you in person at the golf tournament. So thank you so much.
I have to read the most touching chat message that I've ever seen from one of our families. Arlinda, thank you so much. She says, with the most gratitude to Autism Tree and their volunteers for their caring and understanding. The events have been instrumental in my son's life that has helped him thrive in his social skills. We're truly blessed to have Autism Tree in our life. Thank you. Thank you, Arlinda. I love it. And then Joanne, I know you had your hand raised. I want to give you a chance to speak and say anything you like to. Where'd she go? Oh, Joanne, I can't hear you. I think she might have problems with your mic. Okay. You can definitely email it or type it in the chat. I love it. Oh, well, this is such a
Well,
blessing.
I will jump in here and just say a few words for Joanne, because Dominic is one of my favorite kids in our mentor programs. I mean, I love them all. Arlinda's son, when I spoke about Arlinda's family at the board meeting in the spring after baseball, when Dana asked about our why we do the program. And it was when Arlinda and her son came out to our baseball game. And she said, yeah, you got maybe 5 minutes with him. He's really socially shy and doesn't want to talk to anybody. 45 minutes later, she was telling me how amazing that was. And with Dominic, he's the other side of it. It's hard to get a word in with Dominic. And I put him with 2 players at every event just so the guys can have a chance to get a word in. But he touches each one of their lives. And he's one of the kids that's like they instantly, the players, the families, whoever, instantly just take to him, and just he's a joy to be around. And with Julian, I took pictures last time. I noticed he was lying down on the ground, and I asked this football player, who's also Julian, who's 6'7". I said, hey, lay down next to him, just give it a try. He looked at me, he goes, well, I could just lay down. And he laid down on the ground, full football uniform. And I took 4 pictures of it, of her son, Julian, having his back turned to the group. And as soon as the football player laid down, he rolled over and then rolled over again, and then kind of curled up to him, and then sat up and was facing him. And I was like, and I sent those pictures to the player and Becca and Dana. And I was just like, just see the power of meeting somebody where they are. And, the player and I have talked, and he's like, dude, that's something I'll carry with me the rest of my life. Because being tall, I don't really think about it, but getting down to somebody's level, that picture showed me how much of a difference it made. And so that's just, these 2 young men that have seen them flourish and make strides in our program is, kind of my why of why we do what we do.
Aw. And Joanne,
John, you're a huge, huge part of this foundation. You and Sandy, what you guys have created, just priceless. Thank you.
so
Sorry
many
about that.
little miracles that I'm so glad you shared that story, John. And there's so much more. And Joanne just said, I'm forever indebted to each of you. Thank you for being my village after losing my husband and daughter. I need you all. We love you, Joanne. We love you and Dominic.
All right, Rebecca, I got to turn into Cinderella and a pumpkin. Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
Let's take a group picture.
Thank
Love you
you.
all.
And I want to wish everyone a beautiful Thanksgiving week next week.
Yes, let's do one
Be
more
good.
picture before we leave. Let's ready. 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Perfect. Thank you all.
God bless you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, T.
Thank you.